Hey, we got control of this. That's garbage. They don't. It's just a big experiment, and keeping in mind that we're not that far from June 30th, and whether or not we will see a rumble from that LIBOR to SOFR transition. Whoever holds the gold holds your power, holds your choices. Right as they're trying to take all of our freedoms away, take us into central bank digital currencies so that they have full surveillance on everything that we do. This is critical. China knows it. So do global central banks, who have bought more gold than they ever have since we were transitioning into a new system. And what do we know? 7 in 10 central banks surveyed believe that gold reserves will increase in the next 12 months. This is a 10-point increase from last year. 7 in 10. Who's not? Well, let's hope there never is an audit of the U.S. reserves. That's what I can tell you. Because central banks are buying gold to have global purchasing power and global choices and global power. You need to do it for the same reason, and many others. The U.S. is not immune is because, again, the Treasury bond is the foundation of the global market economy, the foundation, right? Well, we know we've been butting heads with China. We know that there's virtually no purchasing power left in any government-based money in the world, right? We know that these are truths. But China's U.S. Treasury holdings hit a 12-year low because of the rate hikes, because of the tension. Why? And yet at the same time, their gold imports are up 60% because they are diversifying away from U.S. dollar holdings. It has been such a huge boon to us that live here in the U.S. that the dollar has been the world reserve currency. Because in theory, this is not in reality anymore, but in theory, we were the only country in the world that could actually print from debt the money that we needed to repay our global bills. Everybody else had to buy dollars in order to do that. Well, those days are coming to an end, and no country retains that position forever. So you can see China's holdings of U.S. Treasuries, the lowest in over a decade, but the gold raises their reserves as the U.S. debt declines. And it's not just in China that we're seeing this happen, because we've also witnessed the U.S. weaponize their global money system, SWIFT, against those that we don't like, that aren't doing what we want. Isn't that interesting? And because the buyers, including the Federal Reserve, by the way, the buyers of U.S. Treasuries are declining, well, we're having a lot more volatility in the Treasury market. This is not good. This is like an earthquake, right? If this is the foundation of the global financial system, it's shifting like this now. And that we've been talking about the lack of liquidity in the bonds. Well, that's where it was in 2008. And those are the only dates that are higher than it is right now. But hey, we're just headed to a soft landing. Hey, we got control of this. That's garbage. They don't. It's just a big experiment. And keeping in mind, and I mean, I'm putting my neck out here, and I have been, but keep in mind that we're not that far from June 30th. And whether or not we will see a rumble from that LIBOR to SOFR transition, whether we see it today or we see it a little bit down the road, it's got to come, because the ground underneath all of these global financial institutions are shifting, and not in a good way. Not in a good way. So how prepared are you? How prepared are you? Well, the higher the interest rates go, the more that's going to happen. And even the CBO, the budget office, expects debt service to go up and up and up. That means there'll be less money for other programs. Only way to fight inflation is with deflation. It makes it really simple. the only way to fight deflation is with inflation. So they've been walking that tightrope using their balance sheet and using interest rates. But the party is over now because they're being forced to raise the rates. And that pops the debt bubble for everyone all over the world. And particularly in the US, because the Treasury is the base of the global financial system. So now they're in a frantic push to solve this sovereign debt crisis, and that push irks Wall Street. Physical gold, physical silver in your possession, no counterparty risk. Zero. This other stuff, all counterparty risk. Any contract is only as good as the counterparty to that. And we've already seen an increase, and that sovereigns are really in a precarious position. The beauty of good money, gold and silver, is that it's globally accepted and has the broadest base of buyer. So if you get your money right to begin with, then you have a much better chance, but of buying the other things that you need. If you don't have that in place, then you better have everything else in place. So the volatility is at elevated levels in the most important market on the planet. And the new Treasury issuance, because we have now just eliminated the debt ceiling or suspended it for a while, right? So we'll see how much new Treasury debt they're going to issue, but they're issuing this, and that sucks up even more market liquidity. Because who's going to be buying it if the other foreign governments and the Federal Reserve is not buying? Critical changes are taking place. So what is so critical that's taking place? First of all, what supports a fiat money? Okay, what supports this garbage, right? Full faith and credit of the government. Translated, as long as you trust them, you have faith, then you will continue to loan them money. Makes people question their confidence in the system. But the reality is it normally takes roughly 12 to 18 months going through the system from central bank policy till we see the impact on the economy. So we have not yet felt the full impact of the global central banks rising rates. And frankly, it doesn't matter. Again, big, small, in between, everybody is impacted by that. No doubt about it. And we can see it here on yields on sovereign bonds. That means that it costs the governments a lot more money. So yields on sovereign bonds rose significantly due to tighter monetary policy, raising rates. That's what that tighter monetary policy, and also making an attempt to run off their balance sheets.